All right. All right. All right, guys. Welcome back, guys. Welcome, everyone. So, all right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everybody. Um, Look, this is the normal show. This is what I do normally. Um, this is my normal show day. But today, you know, we're gonna be talking politics, okay, guys. For some of you, those of you who are not into politics, um, you can excuse yourself. And for those of you who willing to listen to politics, you can stick around. Okay, stay around because we're gonna be doing President George Weah trip to Japan in the Tokyo 7 TCAP conference. That I think that was back in 2019. Plus, we're gonna wait in on President Joseph Boakai trip to Japan as well. Okay, so for those of you who are not into politics, you can excuse yourself, and after that, you can come back. Okay, so yeah. Um, but before we get into it, for those of you on Facebook, like I always do, let's go ahead and listen to what we normally listen to. Obadiah Tokwa. Okay, so for those of you on Facebook, you already know that we always start our show with music. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to one track from Obadiah Tokwa, and then we'll get into it. For those of you watching me on TikTok, you know, um, it's great to see you guys on TikTok. You know, I don't do that quite often. I do that once in a while on TikTok. I don't do it quite often. So I'm on TikTok today. I'm talking Liberian politics. So if you don't know what that is, you can do yourself a favor. Um, but if you want to stick around, feel free to stick around. Okay, Brendan, I see you there. I see you there, Brendan. I see you there on TikTok. But hey, guys, it's gonna be a boring topic. Some of you probably won't like it, but it is what it is. Okay. So for those of you on Facebook, yeah, let's go ahead and listen to one song real quick. Okay. Let's go ahead and listen to one track real quick from Obadiah Topa. Okay. Guys, it's gonna be a great show. It's gonna be a great show, trust me. Okay. It's gonna be a great show. It's all politics. It's gonna be a great show, guys. Okay. And this is for my Liberians, okay? So if there's any Liberians in the house, okay, you can jump on the show. Okay. If you're not a Liberian and you want to listen, you're more than welcome to stick around. But yeah, let's go ahead and listen to Obadiah Topa on this one here. Okay.
Pour la bureau first, pour la bureau first, above your self-interest. Yeah. Pour la bureau first, pour le country first, above your self-interest. Yeah. Yeah. It's the only common denominator. Yeah. It's the only country we can never be deported from. I say pour la bureau first. Oh. The only common denominator we got. For the country first, you can be a ruling establishment, you can be an opposition, you can be a free position. Pour a country first. You can be a lawyer or doctor, politician or journalist. Pour a country first. Oh, yeah. You can be a musician, you can be a footballer, you can be a yana Sarah, you can be a paper rider. I say, Paul, like you first. Oh. Election is coming again, man. They want to be free and fair, but when you lose, you lose. You win, you win. We don't want no bye-bye. We don't want no segregation. For the country first, oh, yeah, yeah. My brother Malcolm Joseph said, Paul Liberia first. Honorable Malcolm Joseph said, Paul Liberia first. My obi lemon, ever happy. Ooh, yeah. No one can be like Umo, no one can be like Umo. Liberia is our home. Yeah. Put Liberia first in everything we do. Liberia will be great, yeah. Pull the country first, above your self-interest. Pull the country first, above your self-interest. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sadly, how? Pull Liberia first, pull Liberia first, above your self-interest, yeah. Pull Liberia first, pull a country first, above your self-interest, yeah, yeah. It's the only common denominator,
Right.
yeah. It's the only country we can never be deported from. I said,
All right, guys. Let's get into this. All right, let's get into this real fast and real quick. Okay. I'm not gonna be here for so long. Nah, I don't really think so, man. I knew it was coming. I knew there was gonna be changes, but I didn't know it was gonna be today. But I knew it was coming though. There's nothing surprising about it. I mean, I was expecting that. It's in my favor though. I like it. I'm happy for that. So yeah, it's in my favor, bro. Yeah. So yeah, so for Facebook and YouTube, okay. Guys on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the platforms. And you guys know what we do here. We talk politics, social, and everything on this platform. Okay. Yeah. But today I want to do a bit of comparison to President George Weah, the former president of Liberia, and the current president of Liberia, Joseph Boakai. Okay. So right now, as we all know, Joseph Boakai traveled to Japan. He's on the 8 days conference trip to Japan, and he's gonna be in Tokyo for approximately 8 days. Now, the reason why I'm having my show tonight about Joseph Boakai trip to Japan is because back a few years ago when President Weah used to travel, Joseph Boakai used to be a very big critic to the CDC-led government. You know, um, many of the opposition used to complain that President Weah was traveling with too many delegates. But surprisingly, today we saw Joseph Boakai on the flight with close to 40 people on the ticket. Now, if we calculate from Liberia to Japan, that's about 6,000, just a little over 6,000 US dollars. Now, imagine 40 people going down to Japan on a trip. It's just a conference. There's nothing major, nothing big happening. But the president decided to go with 40 people on a trip to Japan. Now, yo, Brandon, man, I need to focus, bro. I need to focus on this. All right. Keep sending me more gifts, man. Keep sending me more gifts. So, yes, the president of Liberia decided to travel to Tokyo on the 8 days conference, and he took about 40 people. Now, you see, Kula Fofana, she's a liar. This is the thing. The press secretary, she's a liar. And this is the reason why she was mentioned in the State Department Human Rights Report. I mean, specifically, she was listed in the report. You know, she been one of those people that been violating the right of the Liberian people. Um, Press, there's no freedom of speech under this Joseph Boakai regime because people like Kula Fofana decide to oppress the people. Now, I want to talk about the difference between President Weah and President Joseph Boakai trip to Japan. It was back in 2019 when President Weah traveled on his first trip, international trip to Japan. Now, when he went to Japan, he came back with a lot of achievement from Japan, right? With a lot of achievement. Hey guys, for those of you on TikTok, I'm gonna have to let you go because I need to focus on this show. This is very serious. Brendan, I'll see you at work tomorrow, man. Take it easy, bro. All right, I'll see you at work tomorrow. Yes. All right. Yes. So, when President Weah traveled to Japan in 2019, right? And he returns. When he came back from Japan, he did not just come empty handed. Okay. President Weah did not just come empty handed from Japan. In fact, when President Weah came from Japan, we get a Somalia Drive. Okay. Now Japan Freeway. We get the Somalia Drive. We get the 14 Military Hospital. We get a whole lot of achievement. Okay. But I want to focus on what we get. Okay. So Japan or the Japan Freeway, which Somalia Drive, the expansion of Somalia Drive. Okay, that was the trip from Japan. Okay, the Liberian Japanese friendship, maternity war in the hospital. That was a trip from Japan. Electricity and power supply that was donated to Liberia, about 10 megawatt generator to boost the electricity in Monrovia. This was a trip from Japan. Okay. So this was not any trip when President Weah traveled to Japan. When he traveled to Japan, he traveled, he came back with a very successful trip. Okay. So President Weah did not travel to Japan to waste the Liberian people money. No, no, no. He did not do that. No. In fact, when he traveled to Japan, that's when Liberians achieved a lot. So the trip to Japan was a good trip because Liberia gained a lot from that trip to Japan. So when President Weah traveled, we have a 10 megawatt generator to boost the electricity in Monrovia. And then we get full housing unit. That was 282 modern houses unit. That was a trip to Japan. Okay. Now we got Southtown, Grand Crew County. All of it were constructed. And then we had scholarship. Okay. The human capacity of development. Over 200 Liberians received a scholarship. Okay. To study in Japan. Engineering, medicine, agriculture, and technology. But I'm gonna say all of this, yeah. But let's talk about the why the President Boakai traveled to Japan with so many people, and why did the press secretary Kula Fofana, why did she lie to the Liberian people? According to Kula Fofana, on OKFM when Clarence Jackson called her, and she said that on the president list, the president, the delegate was about 23 people, but apparently one of them people did not show up or were not able to go, so it cut down to 22. Now, we all know when the president traveled, right? When the president traveled, he traveled with a whole lot of people. You got a media team, you get his cook, you got his personal guard, you got his personal doctor, and you got all of these people. Now, when the president traveled, among these 23 people, Kula Fofana was not listed on there. Okay, so that's 23 people already. But Kula Fofana had the audacity to lie to the Liberian people on the national radio and said that the people that went to Japan with the president did not reach to 30 people. Now, imagine there's already 23 people listed on the paper. So are you telling us now that those of you that was not listed, including the president guard, the president, his doctors, the media team, his cook, and all these people, including yourself, Kula Fofana, are you telling us that you people were not up to 7? And you want we, the Liberian people, to believe what you just said to us, that you people were not up to 7? You see, it's very hard to believe this. It's very hard to believe it because we know this government is known for lies. That's what you guys are known for, lies. You know, because you people always want to find a way to justify things. Sometimes when you are being choked on the neck, it's very hard to lie. Because lying is easy, but to defend lies is hard. Okay, so 23 people plus the team, it's not up to 30. We don't believe that, Kula. Now, what do Liberians stand to gain on this trip from Joseph Boakai? How many times has President Boakai traveled? Let me count to that. Just in the period of in the period of 9 months, President Joseph Yuma Boakai, okay, he has spent over 54 days out of the country. That's over the period of 9 months. He has spent 54 days. He been to America, China, Accra, Ghana, Indonesia, or Canada, Africa, South Korea. Like, where he hasn't been. Now, all the travel that this old man is traveling, what is he bringing back to the Liberian people? Because we know that he's spending our money. Okay, what hasn't brought back? It's been almost 2 years since this president been traveling. He been going from places to places like a child that does not have a home. I mean, this guy just basically just going around the world and begging. Okay, first of all, let's say this. Who knows President Boakai? Who knows him? The question is very simple. Who knows him? Nobody knows this guy around the world. And this is a mistake that the Liberian people made. And some of them, we know that they're regretting the mistakes that they made. They're regretting because out of their own selfish ambitions, they went and elected somebody that is unknown to the world. Nobody knows him. He only called few people his friends, and those are African countries who are still begging. Ghana is still begging. And who else? He's not friend with Sierra Leone. So who else is in begging? Who else doesn't call a friend? Nobody. Because nobody knows Joseph Boakai. You know? Now, we have this guy traveling from one country to another, just begging. Okay? Just begging. And out of everything he's doing, There's no benefit. He's not bringing home nothing. Like Liberian people are not benefiting anything from his travel around the world. So what's the essence of he traveling around the world when he ain't gonna bring none back? He's not bringing anything. So all he's doing, he's actually destroying the money or spending the money that the little bit that we have to travel. It's taking a large delegate. Apparently, from Councillor Tiawon Gongo, Liberia has the largest delegate in Tokyo. It's a shame. A little country like Liberia, very poor, very little, very poor country, has the largest delegate in Tokyo. And it's a shame. But let me go back and just give a little bit of breakdown on President Weah, what he achieved. You see, when men are talking, you don't bring in children. When I was young, and if I'm with my granddad, right, and my grandpa and his friends, when they're talking, I was not allowed to talk because I'm not up to that age. Okay, I'm not a man. I'm still a boy. Okay, so when my grandpa take me out to see his friends, and you know how to do this, old people, they like to stand around and have a chat and all that, and I wasn't allowed to talk. See, my grandpa had a walking stick, right? So when he's speaking with his friends and I interrupt, what he do, he just easily lift his walking stick and place it on my toes, and he press it down. Now he's gonna be standing on that until the conversation is over. Now I got no way to interrupt his conversation because I'm feeling pain. So when men are talking, don't talk. So when we're talking about presidency, Joseph Boakai is not a president material because a president should be somebody that is well known around the world, somebody that can leave his country and go out there and come back home with something. Especially a country like Liberia, where we depends on begging other countries. So country like Liberia, we don't have it. No. So what do? We go out there and beg for it. So when we travel out of the country as a president and your people are expecting your return, they are expecting a good news from the trip. They don't want to hear about MOU. Like this government is almost like a MOU government. Every time this president travel, he brings in nothing. The only thing he brings is a lot of fake promises and a lot of sweet talk. You know, and we know that the Unity Party people, they are good at propaganda. When it comes to lies, when it comes to sweet talk, they know how to do it. The Unity Party, they're good at that. They know how to do it. You know, but what do we stand to benefit from President Boakai trip? Because with all the money that he spent, and I'm hearing that he's gonna cut his trip short. He's returning back to Liberia. So is he buying down to the pressure from his critics? Is that what he's doing? So it's a funny thing. I'm coming, guy. I'm trying to share this show with other people. So just bear with me. I'm trying to share this live with other people. Okay. I'm trying to share this live with other people, guys. It's a funny thing. So just bear with me. Okay. Yeah. So what does Liberia stand to benefit from all the travel from President Boakai? I mean, this guy traveled all over the world. He has spent over 54 days out of the country. Just traveling, just traveling, just traveling, and nobody knows what he's bringing. There's no gain. What does Liberia stand to benefit other than wasting our money? Okay, other than wasting our money. You see, Sorry, guy. I'm just trying to share this show. Okay. I'm just trying to share it. I'm just trying to share the show with other people. You know, um, I don't have that big audience. I have a little audience, but I know how to manage. So yes, what does President Boakai or Liberia stand to benefit from the trip to Japan? Now, George Weah trip to Japan. Let me say, George Weah first 2 years. Those are achievement. Okay, those are achievement from President Weah first 2 years, and those are things you can see with your eyes. Those are not things that are written in a book. No, no, no. Those are things you can see with your eyes. Okay, now 2018. Okay, when President Weah noticed that family was struggling to send their kids to school, to pay school fees. Okay, and Joshua being who he is, he always put the Liberian people first. Okay, that's the kind of person he is. He loved Liberians. Yes, he loved Liberians, and he wants to see the things that he did not have as a child. He wants to see, he wants to see the children of Liberia have it. I know he changed his career, but George Weah in 2018, he came up with a free tuition policy. Now, this free tuition policy was for all public university and colleges, okay, including University of Liberia. Okay, I know Liberian people said, "Oh, it wasn't good enough," but that was a big help to the Liberian people, especially a family who are struggling, family that cannot afford. Instead of your child leaving school because of tuition fees, President Weah decided to take the responsibility and put that on his head and say, let the children go to school. We, the government, we gonna take the responsibility to pay for school fee, university fee. So President Weah in 2018 initiated a free tuition policy. That's something he achieved in 2018. This is the first 2 years. And then what else do we get? Infrastructure and development. Okay, road construction and rehabilitation. That's what we get under President Weah first 2 years. Okay, so he pushed the pavements of roads connecting Monrovia corridors to counties. He began works in the Doe community, housings for market women. You see, Liberian people are just ungrateful people. See, they Liberians are ungrateful, just like President Boakai. Somebody who sat down to himself and care for the things and put the Liberian people in front of everything. Market women, there wasn't any market. Even if there was a market, it was not, conducive for the Liberian people. So this president focused on building markets. He built marketplaces. Okay. But the women of Liberia said it wasn't good enough. Apparently, having a roof on top of your head when you're selling your tomato or when you're selling your chilies and potato leaves, it was not good enough. And they voted against the president. Now, what did we get in the first 2 years? Health cares. We got health cares. 14 military hospitals were constructed. Okay. And this was to serve the Liberian people and the military. This was the first time ever something like this happened in the country. The army did not have the hospital, but in Joshua's first 2 years, he knows that health is wealth. So he initiated that plan. That's why all the travel that President Weah was traveling, he was coming home with something to the Liberian people. I know the Liberian people was not seeing it in their pockets or in their homes, because Liberians are only focused on what to eat. Liberians does not focus, or they do not have a long-term goal. Liberians always have a short-term goal. So Liberians are focused on what to eat today and not worry about tomorrow. See, that's a say that the Liberian people say. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to take care of itself. And this is the reason why we as Liberians, we don't go any further in life. Because everything that we plan it too short. We don't plan a long-term goal to achieve. No, we're worried about today. So Liberian people worry about today. So when President Weah began the construction of the 14 military hospital, that was a trip from Japan. Okay, that was a trip from traveling around the world. President Boakai has spent 54 days out of Liberia on a trip to other countries. But yet still, there's nothing to show. The Liberian people have not seen a single thing to benefit from those trips. But yet, he traveled again with a large delegate. Okay. Now, what else do we benefit from President Weah's first 2 years? Now, economic relief. Okay. This was a symbolic move by President Weah. Economic relief. Okay. You know, President Weah cut down his salary by 25%. 25% he cut down. That was salary reduction for the first 2 years. That's what happened. And he pledged 2 years of a presidential salary to development. When I tell you Liberian people that President Weah came to the presidency because he loved Liberian people, I wasn't lying to you people. When I said President Weah came to the presidency to help save lives, to help transform lives, to help with the building of our nation, President Weah did not come to power because he needed the money. So think about it. He cut down his salary 25%. In the first 2 years of his presidential salary, he pledged that to development. He pledged it to development, to see our country transform, to see lives of our people transform, to see our motorbikes, keke and cars and taxis and buses traveling on a road, on a decent road, on a modern road. That's what President Weah, that's the mindset he brought to the presidency. That's the kind of mindset that we need in a country. Okay? The PAPD, okay, the purple agenda will focus on poverty reduction. Okay? The purple agenda will focus on poverty reduction. But because Liberians are so naive and so self-centered, and they don't think about the long run, they go against the president. Youth and sport. Youth and sport. Okay, so President Weah leveraged his football background to promote youth and sport development. He initiated effort to rehabilitate stadiums and sport facilities, promoted vocational programs to keep youth engaged. Now, vocational program. See, Liberians, we are struggling right now with the amount of young people doing drugs in our country, right? And this is the focus of every parent. Every parents are worried that their children are going to end up on the street. Now, the vocational programs, those recreational center that was initiated, those things are for the people, the youth, to take that attention from doing bad things, to take that attention from doing drugs. I mean, during George Weah time, there was kush. Yes, there were drugs in the country, but it was not rampant like it is today. Every corner, you see children behaving like a zombie. It's getting worse. Under a proper government, drugs were not rampant like it is today under a rescue government. And this is a reality Liberians have to face. We got to face the facts that those are reality. I mean, we are not blind to see what is happening. No, we are not blind. We see what is happening. And we know that it's not a good thing. But because we are Liberians and we don't like to see other people achieve in life, and we intend to go against people who are trying in life to do something better. And then politics kick in. And people like Abraham Darius DeLong, aka the Light, those Chinese lights started coming in. I was in Liberia in 2017, okay? And that's the first time that I've been to Liberia for a very long time, you know. And the house, man, the light bulbs, I was in Liberia for 5 weeks or 6 weeks. And we changed the bulb, the light bulb, okay, in a house at least 3 times. That's the kind of light Abraham Darius DeLong is talking about. He's not talking about, Australia made, Germany made, USA made. No, he's talking about Chinese made. So people like that, it comes in with confusion. It comes in with deceptive mind to confuse the Liberian people. And because Liberians are low on IQ, like I keep saying, they bash into it. They buy, not knowing what they are purchasing is something that's going to affect their life in a negative way. So people like Darius DeLong, that comes in, they lies. Because they want to be on a trip with President Boakai, traveling to Japan. Only God knows what he's going to say. I mean, this guy cannot even speak a proper English. So why exactly is he going to say that the Japanese are going to listen to? You know what I mean? So all the deceptive mind that came in to deceive the Liberian people. But I'm pretty sure that you people are realizing that every decision that you made 2 years ago was a wrong decision, but it's too late. Okay. Now we come to women and social welfare. Support a program for market women and petty traders. Those are all good things. And those are Liberian people benefiting. Those are not the foreigner. Those are not Lebanese. Those are not Indians. Those are not Chinese. Those are Liberians benefiting from a little that was initiated. Okay. We had an international relationship. I listened to people like Phoebe Henrys on Spoon FM. Phoebe believed that any government that take over the CDC government, he gave them 3 years before they can start doing something for the Liberian people. And you see people like Phoebe Henry, those are not people to listen to. Because these are the people with deceptive mind. For Phoebe Henry to say he does not expect President Boakai to achieve anything in the first 3 years. So people like Phoebe Henrys are not in the interest of the Liberian people. people like Phoebe Henrys, they are only a big talker, praise singer, so that they can get a position, so that they can gain favor from people like Joseph Boakai. Because you see, Joseph Boakai like people that praise him, people that beat the drum, like that's what he likes. So for Phoebe Henry to say that, he gave this government 3 years before they can start achieving or before they can start doing something for the Liberian people. That is deceptive. Now, let me remind you people, maybe you people don't know. When President Weah took over in 2018, there were protest after protest after protest. Okay, there was so much protest to the point that sedition was getting afraid. Now, this opposition have been fair with this unity party government, and in my mind, I believe that this opposition, they're weak. This opposition is not strong enough because this opposition is not loud enough. You got few people talking, but the majority of the opposition leader, they are mute. And that's the one thing. They are lazy. This opposition was meant to be the one holding President Boakai feet to fire so that he can do something, so that he can move. Because President Boakai is like a tortoise. In Africa, if you have a tortoise as a pet, if you want it to move, you got to put fire on the back so it moves. So President Boakai is like that. He's so complacent. He's so chill. He thinks he has arrived. But not knowing 6 years not far. It's just like that. Okay. So people like Phoebe Henry that said he expects this president to start doing something for the Liberian people after 3 years. Let me remind Phoebe Henry. When President Weah took over in 2018, January, the first protest in Liberia was the missing 16 billion. Bring back our money. The missing 16 billion protest was the very first protest that took place. That was 2018 to 2019. Okay, and this was led by one of the biggest public demonstrators in the year. Okay, with citizens demanding answers and accountability. I mean, this president just took over and people are crying, bring back our money. But at the end of the day, investigations show that there were no missing 16 billion. Even if the investigation found out that there was this missing 16 billion, it wouldn't have come from George Weah time. It would have come from the Unity Party-led government. Now, protest number 2, it was in 2018 to 2019, the economic hardship. Okay, economic hardship. They have protests for that. Okay, as the economy worsened, high inflation and food and fuel prices were on the high. Depreciation of the Liberians or Liberian dollars note. They staged a protest for that. Now, how many protests have we had since this government took over? Almost 2 years. Now, protest number 3, we all know what that was. It was the biggest protest and the most scary protest in the history of Liberia. And people thought that June 7 protest, okay, or Save the State protest, it was going to shake the country. But as what they anticipated did not happen. Okay, these people were put to shame. June 7 protest went on to be a successful protest and a peaceful protest with no drama. And what else do we have? The University of Liberia, they staged a protest. So I can go on and on and on and on and just name me all the protests that took place under President Weah first few years. But you see, that's not what we want to talk about. Okay, we want to let people like Phoebe Heron knows that the the Unity Party in opposition did not give the CDC-led government a single minute to breathe. It was protest after protest after protest. And you have people like or loud voice like Patrick Horner. You have people like what this kid name? Martin Colley. You got all these people or Henry Costa, another blackmailer, another fraudster. People like that. They put fire at the feet of President Weah. All they wanted to see is for President Weah government to collapse in the first 2 years, so that they can tell the Liberian people that, yes, we told y'all that this guy wasn't going to do anything. But you see, who God has blessed, no one can curse, right? So President Weah was blessed. So every trap that the enemy set, he skipped, he jumped over every trap that was set, because it was God that was leading him. That's why we see some tangibles in the country today. We're seeing some tangibles. We're seeing the Invincible Park. We're seeing the PHP Park. We're seeing the 14 Military Hospital. And we're seeing all of this because who God has blessed, no one can curse. That's why we're seeing all of this. Okay. We're seeing all of that because President Weah was blessed. Guys, hold on. I'm sorry. Something's going on with my internet. Okay. So let me bring this up real quick. I don't know. Something's going on.
You can be a ruling establishment, you can be a opposition, you can be a free position, for the country first. You can be a lawyer or doctor, politician or journalist, for the country first. You can be a musician, you can be a footballer, you can be a young Sarah, you can be a paper rider. I say, Paul, like you refer to. It's the only common denominator, yeah. It's the only country we can never be deported from. I say, Paul, like you refer to. It's the only common denominator we got. For the country first, you can be a ruling establishment, you can be an opposition, you can be a free position, for the country first. You can be a lawyer or doctor, politician or journalist, for the country first. You can be a musician, you can be a...
Yeah, sorry guys. So I had a little issue with I don't know. I'm using my phone as the webcam for my computer. So it's been tripping. So guys, you see, shout out to Obadiah. If you like the song that I just played, okay, you can go down on YouTube. That's Paul Liberia First by Obadiah Topa. You can get that. But guys, this is what we're saying. Okay, now we go back to a whole list of President Weah achievement from Japan. You see, when a leader travel, there's too many things people are expecting. Okay, so we get a scholarship, right? President Weah trip to Japan. We end up with what 200 Liberians on a scholarship to study in Japan. Now, those 200 people coming back to the country after a trip to Japan, you know, that's a lot. That's gonna boost the that provide I don't know, for a lack of better word, okay, it's also a development. Okay, because there's gonna be 200 Liberian returning. Some are gonna be an engineer. Some are gonna be agriculture, whatever is, technologies and everything, right? Now, and then we have support for the fishermen. That's what that Japan donated a motorized, okay, Yamaha canoe to over 4,000 local fishermen. This was all from Japan. This was all from President Weah trip. Okay, so President Weah did not travel out of the country and return empty-handed. Every time he travels, he comes with something. He comes with something, right? So that's that's number 6. Number 7, okay, emergency aid, and the list go on and on and on and on. Okay, the list go on and on and on and on. So what was it like? How much is that in total with everything that President Weah get from there? Okay, so the Japan Freeway, Somalia Drive, the expansion of Japan Freeway, it costs approximately about 50 million. Okay, that's the reconstructions and linking the Bushro Island to Painesville. Okay, that just phase 2. I mean phase 1. Phase 2, that's about, what's the budget for $45 million. In Liberia, we don't appreciate people who are doing good. In Liberia, we tend to beat on people because we say they are not educated. In Liberia, we are so entitled that we believe that this thing belongs to us. This is the reason why the UP's government is not progressing the way it's supposed to be going. Because you cannot call yourself a rescue team and there's nothing to show. Look at this guy. Do you have a proof? Daniel, do you have a proof? Do you have a proof? My brother, we're not talking because we're talking. We speak on facts. If we have a document that proves that President Weah used the Liberian people money to build all of those structures for himself, then we can talk about it. But if you ain't got no proof, then we ain't gonna talk about it. We speak with facts. We don't speak with fabricated lies. You know what I mean? So you probably from your comment, I know you are a UPist, but welcome to the show, Daniel. Okay, so when the president travel, we expect some good news. Liberians are sick of MOU. President Boakai will leave the country and travel to another country only to come back with sweet talk. Every time he comes, there's nothing to show, and Liberians tend to benefit nothing from him, but losing the little bit that we have. All this money that the president has used to travel, it could do a lot for the University of Liberia. All this money that the lawmakers are using in the House, and they're not even doing their jobs. That money could have been used to build a little factory so that the Liberian youth can be focused, they can be busy, and they can be able to earn money for themselves. Look at Burkina Faso. As young as Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso. And I don't like to set example with Burkina Faso because Liberia is far ahead, like far better than Burkina Faso. But with the way things are going now, Burkina Faso is 10 times better than Liberia now. Their GDP has increased. 1847. 1847. Where is Liberia heading? From 1847, just like Mark Jabate said. 1958, Guinea, they eat 3 times a day. 1847, Liberia, How many times do we eat in the country? That's the question for the UPS to ask. I mean, to answer. That's the question for the UPS to answer. Because everything that's going on in the country is not sedition that are suffering. No. It's not ANC. It's not CMC. No. Everybody. Everybody. Every single one of us. We are all feeling the pain. When a president that came to rescue will travel out of the country for over 54 days in a period of 9 months, and still nothing to show, that's the problem. President Weah uses connection from the world of soccer to bring help to the Liberian people. And Joseph Boakai sitting down on the sideline, he thought that he would do better because he's educated. But we're not looking for education. Because all the educated people that led Liberia, what have they done for Liberia? What did my President Eli Joseph Salif did for Liberia? So we are not looking for educated people. Liberians are looking for answers to their problems. Liberians are looking for somebody that can reform the country, that will change their lives. Liberians are looking for somebody that's going to give them a better and strong health care. Liberians are looking for a leader that will come in and change the country. Okay, we want to see a better infrastructure. We want to see a good drinking water running into the houses. We want to see tap in every houses. Not President Boakai driving, I don't know how many miles to go and dedicate a hand pump. That's a disgrace. That's a shame to a whole president. Because the only major project that this president has ever achieved since he came is he and Mo Ali with water tower. A tower that can be built with less than 20,000. Mo Ali is taking 250,000 to build it. Is that not corruption? Is that not stealing from the Liberian people? But when we talk, UPS want to go and justify everything. Even those, their life is not better than we, the sedition. Their life is not better than the CMC. Their life is not better from the ANC. Their life is not better from the MPP. We are all in the same mess. But when we talk, they want to come out to justify. And it's a shame. Because this government have no defense mechanism other than to blame the CDC government. This government have no vision for the nation. This president have no vision to lead the Liberian people to prosperity other than to drain the Liberian people out of their resources and build himself a retirement home that costs over $10 million, travel to another country, just to say I travel around the world. Now, instead of doing all the travel as a rescue government, why can't you just sit down and put a plan together that's going to benefit the Liberian people? Because every bit of resources that you spend on the international trade can do a whole lot for the Liberian people. Now, the trip to Japan, Liberia has the largest delegates. Every time President Boakai travels, he travels with huge number of people. Okay, so we are still waiting. Okay, we want to see what the president is going to bring. Okay, we are waiting to see what this president is going to bring from Japan. Yeah, from Japan. Okay, so in the summaries, okay, in summary of the achievements for President Weah in your first 2 years, okay, you know, Liberian people say he did not do enough. I mean, fair enough. As a president, I know that he's not satisfied, he's not happy with the way things go. Because he wanted to see the transformation of Liberians, but he couldn't have done that within 6 years. And mind you, President Weah first 2 years were COVID, 2 years was stolen from him by COVID-19. So if we want to be fair, President Weah tenure was only for 4 years. If we want to be fair, I think that's a fair argument. Okay, his tenure was 4 years. Okay, so that's a fair argument. So in summaries, okay, education, infrastructures, social programs, and symbolic leadership. That's the first 4 years. 2 years. Now, if we go to President Boakai, can we say the same thing about President Boakai in his first 2 years? Can we say President Boakai has traveled out of the country for 54 days out of Liberia and returned with something? Can we say President Boakai has initiated anything of his own other than a previous government initiative? Or can we say President Boakai has set a vision for himself or turning another person's vision into reality and taking the credit for it? Can we say that? Would that be a fair argument if we say? I think it would be a fair argument. Yeah, it will be. D Lord, you're funny, bro. Can we say President Boakai first 2 years was a waste of the Liberian people time? Hey, D, Alex, I'm using your word now. Okay, I'm using your word. Can we say President Boakai first 2 years was a waste of the Liberian people time? Can we say President Boakai first 2 years was an opportunity for few individuals to come and loot the country? I think that would be a fair argument. What do you think about that, D Alex? I think that's a fair argument, right? Because so far, we have not seen a single initiative from this president, other than doing the opposite of everything, breaking the laws. Bro, how long to 2 years? It's not from now to January 22nd, it's not far. So don't worry about that. Let's leave that. Let's say it's 2 years. Okay. So let's take that as 2 years, my brother. Okay. Let's be fair. Now, D-Law, as you're saying, how has your life been transformed under a rescue government? Like, let's be sincere with ourselves. Sometimes let's just put politics aside and just speak facts to reality. Has the Liberian people's life transformed? Or has there been any changes in the lives of the Liberian people? Why is it that we have more young people addicted to drugs now? What is pushing young people out in the street, avoiding themselves with drugs? And we blame them. We see them on the street like a zombie. They are not zombies. Those are people, children. But because of bad governance, this is the result. This is what you get when you have a leader who does not have a plan. President Boakai appointed Abraham Nkrumah. And Abraham Nkrumah was disrespected by his deputy, Hussein Fadiga. Instead of President Boakai taking a straight straightforward decision and getting rid of Hussein Fadiga as an example to tell deputies to respect the directors. President Boakai get rid of these two people. With all the lies that were fabricated by the Fadiga brothers, he get rid of these two people. Now, in the DEA, the same issue between Abraham and Fadiga is happening right now in the DEA. Because Liberians people need to understand that drugs is not just anything. Drugs money is very powerful. And this that drugs can fight for itself. Come on, what's going on with my internet? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Look, I'm sorry, guys. Let me put this on. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Your football. You can be your Yana Sarah, you can be your Pepe Rada. I say, Paul, like you refer to.
All right, D. Lloyd, I want you to name me 5 things that President Boakai has done. D. Lloyd, name me 5 things that President Boakai has done to benefit your life. I want to see it, please. You know you're my boy. I miss you though. I miss you a lot. I miss you and Daniel. Okay. I'm still trying to get back on track, guys. So the same issues that occurred between the Fadigas and Abraham Krumah is the same issue that is happening now. Okay, that is happening now. Sorry, guys. I gotta put this up, man. No, D Lord, man. Don't make me laugh, bro. What you mean about within 1 year, President Boakai have suspended more ministers, directors on allegation of corruption, but we didn't see it doing. Is that what Liberian people gonna eat? Is that gonna benefit the life of Liberian people? It's suspending without investigation. Is that what you want to talk about, D Lord? That's not what you call taking action. That's being a coward. That's a way. That's a way to hide behind closed doors. So that's not anything. Suspending without action is nothing. So D Lloyd, don't put this, don't write this type of stuff, bro. You know, don't do it, man. Come on, don't do it. You know, come on. You're more than that. I want you to write something for the audience to see. What has the president done to benefit your life in the past 1 year? What has he done to benefit your life? That's what I want. I don't want suspension. I don't want suspension. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we got to speak truth to power. It does not matter if you work in the government. You should be allowed to talk. You see, some of you haven't read the U.S. State Department. You see, this is where you get it wrong, D Lord. This is not about me, but about the country. No. When the president comes in, it's about you. You are not the president, dear Lord. You are the people in the country. So your life supposed to be transformed under a leadership. Your life supposed to be transformed. You as a young person. As your age, you're supposed to be working and fending for yourself. You're supposed to be able to wake up in the morning and go to work. But because we live in a country where our leaders don't care about us, that's why a lot of young people are engaging into illegal substances like drugs. Because you wake up in the morning and there's nothing to do. You wake up in the morning and you still lie in bed till 10 o'clock. You're thinking, what am I going to do today? How am I going to eat? The frustration led to people leaving their homes and getting in the street and following bad friends. Okay, dear Lord. So this is not in your place to say it's not about you. It is about you. It is about your brothers and sisters. It's not for you to say it's not about you. Don't make those type of statement. You are the youth of the country. You are the future leader for tomorrow. So if it's not about you today, who is it going to be about? Do you know that if your life is better today, you can contribute to the development of Liberia? Do you know that? How can a country be developed when the young people are hungry? Because the young people are hungry, they are led to doing illegal things. Because the young people don't have jobs, they are led to doing things that they shouldn't be doing. That's why our country is going downward. Because young people like you, your life's supposed to be transformed so that you can help to the development of the nation. If that's not happening, then the country ain't going nowhere. So if a rescue team cannot do that, tell me who else gonna do it? I mean, we're speaking of the rescue train. You know, you should be on the train, my brother. You should be on the train. You know what I mean? But you know, it's just life, man. You know, sometimes we need to learn how to defend the defendable. Something that is not worth defending, don't defend it, because at the end of the day, you are the one going to suffer it. It's not President Boakai. It's not Jeremiah Kuhn. It's not Abraham Darius DeLong. All these people, they are enjoying, you know, what they fought for. But you, the Yuppies, you, the masses that was in the rain, are you guys enjoying what you fought for? Are you? No. There was a reason why President Weah did not win the election, because the Marxists decided to change President Weah because President Weah was not meeting the needs of the Liberian people. So they voted for a man, a father of the nation, who they think would be a better fit to transform the lives of the young people. So that's why you people was in the rain, in the sun, in those dirty water, and make sure you bring a rescue father to govern it. The reason you brought just a Boakai is for your life to be better, and for you to have a 24-hour electricity in your house, so that you don't have to go and pay $10 to charge your mobile phone. In the process of charging your phone, it could get stolen. That's the loss. You voted for President Boakai to have a safe drinking water at home, and not those water that Mo Alice is drinking that is so brownish, so red. And Mo Ali is not drinking those water in his home. That's not what you voted President Boakai for. You voted President Boakai so that you can have a better future. 12 years under President Ellen, your life did not change. 6 years under President Weah, your life did not change. That 18 years of your life. A child that was born from the post-war to now, or to 2018, could be 18 years old. And your life has not changed. So when will your life be changed, if not now? So we need to be clear when we talk some things. President Joseph Boakai is not fit to be a president of a country. President Joseph Boakai came to power to enrich himself. Everything that was promised yesterday by this president, it was all a lie. President Boakai did not come with the intention to change your lives. President Boakai did not come with the intention to give you a better health care. He did not come to give you a better educational system. No, he came to power because he was broke. President Boakai came to power because he was broke. He worked his entire life in government and he does not have a saving. That's why he was begging. That's why Joseph Boakai have to live on Stanton Waterspoon, receiving $3,000 a month. Just like he's living on Stanton like an employee. That's why Henry Pedro Costa have to stand tall to bring Joseph Boakai to where he is. So Joseph Boakai is a failure. And Joseph Boakai is going to be a failure even after 6 years of presidency. He's not going to achieve anything. The only thing Joseph Boakai is going to do is to take credit from past government or initiative. Because Boakai does not have vision. Boakai does not care about the young people. In fact, Boakai believes that Liberian people beg too much. So Joseph Boakai is not going to change your lives. We could say this for thousands or thousand times. Nothing going to change because Boakai is already in power. So you people have to live with another 4 years of bad governance. Pregnant women will be afraid to go to JFK because they do not have a deposit to put in so that doctors can touch them. So as a result, pregnant women are going to be giving birth in kekes. Pregnant women are going to be giving birth at home, and they're going to be risking their lives and the lives of their born baby. Because people are going to be afraid to go to the hospital. Because if you go to the hospital and you be treated and you don't have the remaining money, the hospital is going to hold you hostages. So you won't be allowed to go home unless you pay. So this is not a rescue government. This government came to power with a pretense to rescue the Liberian people, but the actual plan is to come and frustrate the Liberian people so that the Liberian people can die. So Joseph Boakai did not come to rescue anybody. Joseph Boakai came to rescue himself and his friends. So you people have long way to go. Another 4 years, and market women are going to be crying. Another 4 years, drugs is going to be on the rise. There's going to be also the drugs coming to the country because all of your government officials are engaged in drugs trafficking. Okay? Gregory Coleman knows some of these government officials are being, they are paying per diem to Gregory Coleman so that he can freely allow them to move and distribute their illegal substances so that they can destroy the life of the Liberian youth. So the police and the LDA, they know exactly who's bringing drugs in the country, but they cannot arrest the drugs trafficker because if they do, how are they going to get the living? Drugs money is sweet money. Drugs money is fast money. And drugs money is dangerous money. So do you think that Gregory Coleman or the DEA, when you have all these people in DEA working as a voluntary, what does that say to you? That's tell you that these voluntary workers are the people who are actually supplying those drugs. Because how can you be a voluntary worker for 5, 6 years? How are you feeding your family? How are you paying rent? How are you paying? You putting foods on the table? How are you paying your school fees for your kids? And you tell me we have a voluntary drugs deal, LDEA. Do you think that I would be doing voluntary drugs when I'm bringing in 100,000s, when I'm busting millions of dollars in drugs, and I'm breaking, and I know that I ain't gonna get nothing out of it? Do you think I'll still be working as a voluntary? No, I won't. Because I will not be bringing in so much money and not benefiting from it. So all these voluntaries, LDA that you see that claim to be a voluntary workers, those are not voluntary workers. But you know why? The police knows that. LDA, that's their business. They knows that. So this is how the voluntary workers get paid. You cannot have a LDA worker on a voluntary plan. No, for 5, 6 years, that's impossible. Look, guys, look, we're gonna stop here today. Okay. I was meant to be here for an hour, but it's been an hour 20, so I'm gonna stop here. Okay. Now, my next show is gonna be on Saturday. So in Liberia, it's gonna be Friday. In Australia, it's gonna be Saturday. I don't know about America, but wherever you are, man, for those of you follow me on YouTube, I appreciate all of you. For those of you follow me on Facebook and TikTok, I appreciate all of you. So look, this is how we go home today. Okay. I appreciate all of you. Thanks to all of you. Oh, dear Lord, man. It's been a while, bro. It's nice having you on the show again. Your comments are important. Your comments are important. So yes, keep engaging, bro. It's always good. So guys, let's go home. Let's go home. Let's go home. Thanks to all of you, and good night. It's already in the night yet to me.
It's coming again, man. They want to be free and fair, but when you lose, you lose. You win, you win. We don't want no bye-bye thing. We don't want no segregation.
Oh yes.